Hello, today I welcome you to my world of watches, and in this video I'm going to show you pretty much everything about the PaganiDesign PD-1752, and yeah, it has problems. So in this video we will be taking a look at the DayDate Homage from PaganiDesign, which is getting more and more popular according to sales and watch forums, but it has major drawbacks that we will take a look at in this review. For first, I have to thank my friend over at Tomas Watch Reviews for lending me this watch to do this review. I was really anticipating the release of this model. I've been waiting for a couple of years now for the PaganiDesign to release the DayDate Homage. DayDate is one of my favorite watch designs to be released, and to get a Homage for a little over $100 seems like a very good deal. But now I'm very happy that I didn't go for it when there was a sale, and I strongly considered it. It still has something going for it. It has great specifications and looks very nice, but there are areas that you might want to take a closer look at. So let's do just that. For first, packaging is nothing new. The box is very nice looking, blue in color. Inside there is a polishing cloth, a warranty card, and also you get this nice little NATO strap. Again, Bond style, soft material. Probably not gonna use it, but it has a signed clasp, so that is a nice touch. And there's obviously the watch. That's pretty much all for the packaging. The dimensions are actually quite nice on this one. 36mm in diameter, lug to lug is 46mm, thickness is 12mm, and the bandwidth is 20mm. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist, and as you can see it wears very nicely. Even though it is 36mm, it doesn't look small on my wrist. One thing that I do want to mention is the thickness. Comparing to the diameter of the watch, the thickness is a little bit too much. I think it takes away from the elegance of this watch. Of course, it is probably because of the movement, but still, it doesn't look right, and you can kind of feel it on your wrist like it's bulging. Other than that, the dimensions are pretty much spot on. Now, the bracelet is one of the main points where PaganiDesign failed miserably. Don't get me wrong, it is a nice looking bracelet, resident style, solid end links, polished center links, brushed outer links, and also polished sides. It does feel rather good on wrist, it doesn't plug hairs or anything like that, but first of all, the clasp is completely off. It looks like they put on what they had lying around, and this is the same clasp they use on their dive watches. On other watches I have here, they've matched the clasps to the bracelets. For example, the PD-1639 has an all brushed finish on the bracelet, and the clasp is brushed too. The PD-1651 also has polished center links, and they've matched the clasp so that the middle is also polished. Maybe on the dive watches it would have passed, but on this one it just doesn't work at all. It is a good milled clasp, also has 3 micro adjustments, and there is a diver's extension, sort of, so that is a nice touch. But it doesn't stop just with the clasp. The thing is that the links are connected with screws, which is pretty normal with PaganiDesign, but this time they've decided to leave both of the ends open, so if there are no other screws to show you the direction, you will be putting the screws in the wrong way, as I did. Probably. Not a big deal, but again, leaving both of the ends open also takes away from the beauty of this watch, in my opinion. Speaking about the case finishing, it is spot on. Both of the sides are highly polished, and also the top of the lugs is polished too, and you also get a very nicely polished wavy DayDate style bezel, which actually dances beautifully in the correct lighting. I literally have nothing bad to say about the finishing on the case. It is very nice. It will, however, catch a lot of scratches along the way, but without this finishing it just wouldn't look right, so they've done a very good job here. And there's also a signed PaganiDesign crown, which is screw-in, which gives 100 meters of water resistance, even though I doubt that I would swim, let alone dive with this watch on. Now the movement is basically the main point for which I cannot recommend you this watch. This is a Seagull ST16 automatic movement that you're looking at. It has a 36-hour power reserve, Haken and hand winding, and has 21 joules. It actually performs quite well, but the thing is that when you pull out the crown of the watch, set the time, and then put the crown back in, it doesn't start going. And this problem happens pretty much every single time you set the time, and in order for it to go again, you have to shake it quite vigorously or give it a strong tap on the palm. So this is a very big quality control issue, and basically because of this, you won't be able to set the time correctly. Before it even starts going, you will have to shake it for about 10 to 20 seconds and sometimes even multiple times like in this example you see, so basically you will never get your seconds right. There are similar watches without the day complication, basically they just homages with NH35 movements which will serve you for a very long time, but if you want that day wheel on top, you will have to take a risk, so that is something to note. Both the crystal and the Cyclops were tested with the diamond selector tool and it reads positive as you can see, so in fact this is a true sapphire. Can't expect anything else from PaganiDesign as this is basically the norm in their watches. Again, sapphire adds to the longevity of the watch, so you'll have a clear crystal. And now we come to the dial. As you can see, I got to review this rich dark blue color variant. First of all, it has a very nice sunburst effect. You get a lot of different shades in different lightings. It especially dances very nicely in the direct sunlight, and when there is little to no light, the dial appears almost black. The layout is also very nice. Obviously you've got a day window on top, then there is a PaganiDesign logo which is applied, not just printed, PaganiDesign name. On the right there is a date window with a Cyclops which looks very nice. It isn't out of proportion and works very well in this layout. And there is just enough writings on the bottom with automatic and 100 meters or 330 feet printed in a nice font. Now as you can see, the indices are in Roman numerals. All of them are applied correctly without any crookedness and they are silver in color. Again, highly polished. Now while they do dance when the light hits them, they make up for pretty bad legibility in a darker environment. Maybe on a brighter dial they would do an okay job, but right now as the dial is quite dark, the indices oftentimes get lost in the dial. Even in some of the shots that I filmed, you can see that it is sometimes hard to see some of them, and in turn it is harder to see the actual time. And obviously for the lume shot I have nothing to show as there is nothing that is luminescent on this watch. Now my final thoughts on this watch and what I recommend it. I think it's a very good looking watch. It is definitely a very nice dress timepiece that will work with a lot of outfits, dressy or casual, but I would use it only as a fashion piece without really thinking much of it. It just lacks quality. There are things that you will have to overlook, especially if you watch the whole video. You can see that there are quite some places that when summed up, they pretty much ruin the watch. Maybe the design choices, primarily on the bracelet or on the indices, are just negatives for me, but there's no way to ignore the faulty movement, and I really hope that this is just one of very few examples where the movement is actually faulty. So to sum up, I cannot really recommend this watch. There are a bunch of different alternatives for around the same price that offer better build quality and better movements. You can find them on my channel, so take a look. So there you go, here's my full review on the PaganiDesign PD-1752. A good looking watch, great specifications, and overall the build quality is not that bad, but as you can see, it has some major flaws. I think if they would use a different movement, which I don't know if there is one with the day on top, the result would be a lot better. So again, would I recommend it? I cannot say that I would, but if you want to test your luck and check this one out, I will leave the link in the description down below. And as always, if you like this video, please leave a like and also consider subscribing and hitting that little bell so you'll get notified when I upload a new video. And now thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.